Hello and welcome to Colorful Talks. My name is Kesha Williams and I am your host for today. During our series, we feature successful women in STEM that have been featured on our blog, Colors of STEM. Today, we have with us Dr. Kimberly Holloway. Her chosen STEM field is Translational Breast Cancer Research. She will tell us about her journey in STEM. She will also offer inspirational advice to our students. After our video, feel free to send her questions through her feature on Colors of STEM. You can find the link to her feature on Colors of STEM at the end of this video. So sit back and be prepared to be inspired with Dr. Kimberly Holloway. So, Dr. Holloway, can you tell us about your journey into translational breast cancer research?
In general, my research career started in undergrad. I was unsure if I wanted to go to medical school or what else was out there, but just so happened my second semester of my freshman year, I got asked if I wanted to join a microscopy lab and do some independent research as kind of as an assistant, but also make money from it as well, which is really important in undergrad. So my entire time I was in undergrad, I actually worked in that core. Helping make bacterial agar plates, help with cleaning the lab. And by the time my senior year came about, I decided, I'm not going to go to medical school. How about I venture into research? So after I graduated, I took a year off and actually worked at a wetlands research center in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I worked there for a year, and I basically confirmed that I wanted to go into research, but I wanted to move more so into biomedical research. I wanted some type of aspect of the medical career in that field as well. So I actually got invited to tour LSU Health Sciences Center in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I instantly fell in love with that school and decided that I wanted to move to Houston, join Baylor College of Medicine in the breast center. And it's kind of been history since then. I moved here in 2011 and kind of just moved up the ranks into different labs. I was a postdoc in Dr. E. Lee's lab in the breast center, and then I worked as a research associate in a core for a couple of years, and then now I'm an assistant laboratory director in the breast center. So, yeah.
Wow. Sounds like an amazing journey.
Yeah. I wouldn't change it for the world.
So throughout that journey, it sounds like your relationship with your mentors really helped to make you a success.
Yes, very much so.
Can you tell us more about how mentorship impacted your life and more about those mentors that positively influenced your career?
I'll mainly focus on my grad school mentor, Dr. Kevin Pruitt. I always talk to my husband about that experience because sometimes I feel like I was kind of spoiled because it was a lot of people complain about grad school, how it was tiresome and everything, and it was so hard, which it was.
Right.
But working in that lab, basically having someone that was somewhat like family, mentor you and guide you as far as scientifically, but then also, he was a person that I would be able to go into his office and just talk about what I was going through as far as just living in Shreveport by myself. If you can imagine, grad students don't necessarily get paid the most, so you struggle a little bit financially, so he helped me out with that. I was able to watch his kids. I know his kids, has 2 kids, and just being able to see them from when they were younger to now, having that connection as well,
Right.
Was really important as well. He was actually around when I was pregnant with my daughter, so I always tell my daughter now, she's 6, when I was pregnant, she would always kind of kick when she would hear his voice, so that was always really funny to me, but it's really important. You got to have somebody that's not necessarily there for you just as far as career-wise, but as far as personally as well. And that actually follows you even more so because you feel more inclined to continue to connect with that person.
Right.
And they feel more inclined to get updates on you and how you're doing. So, that was really, really helpful. I definitely don't think I would have been able to get through grad school and then get through grad school as quickly as I did, because it's usually 5 to 7 years, and I was able to graduate in 4 years.
Wow.
And I was really, and it's because of my determination and everything as well, but having that mentor really was really important to me.
Right. So I always tell my young girls, and I always work with them, especially the ones that I work with in college, to find a mentor and really connect with that person, because when you face struggles, when you need advice, when you need help, there's always someone there that you can turn to. And I think your story really highlights how having a mentor really helped really accelerate your career and help you advance more quickly. So
Yes.
That's an awesome story.
Yes.
So tell us about your current job function. I know you mentioned you work in a research lab. Tell us specifically about one particular project that you're working on.
So as the lab director, you basically have your hands in everything. On a daily basis, you're doing who knows what. Administrative tasks, project management tasks, or actually experiments.
Okay.
Overall, one big project that we're working on that I'm basically the project manager on is that my director is really interested in utilizing any resources that we can get from the clinic in the lab, and then finding things that we didn't know before as far as different types of tumors, and then basically translating that back into the clinic and finding personalized medicine for each person or each type of tumor. He hates basically the fact that there's some resources that, say for instance, biopsies, tumor biopsies, they're only used for certain types of methods. But he believes that if you take that one precious resource from this patient, you can utilize it in a lot of different methods.
Okay.
So that one major thing I think I mentioned is proteogenomics. So from this one tumor biopsy, we can get analysis on its protein, on its genetics, analyze that, compare it, and then test it and see if in the actual lab, if it responds to certain types of treatments, and then basically translate that back to the clinic side and actually help patients. So that's the overall theme in the lab that we're really pushing through right now. We're working on optimizing a protocol right now to get that functional in the clinic. So that's the main kind of umbrella theme we have going on right now.
Okay. The work that you do sounds amazing, because really it is life-saving work.
Yeah. And I think having a director that's a clinician as well, he has a biomedical degree, so a PhD, but he also has an MD, was really important to me, because one thing that you do find is that sometimes when you're just working in a basic scientist lab, sometimes you forget about the way it can translate to the clinic. But having somebody that's a mentor and a director that always reminds you, like, how is this actually going to help the patient? Why even do this experiment if it's not going to help the patient is really important.
Right. Tell us, what do you enjoy most about your job?
I think going back to what I said earlier, is just I have my hands in everything. So
Right.
we have, I lose count sometimes because I feel like the lab is growing every week. So we have about 20 people in the lab.
Okay.
So you can imagine there's numerous and various types of experiments that go on in the lab. But like I said, I have my hands in everything.
Okay.
So science as a whole, but even just cancer research, has so many aspects to it. There's so many things that you can study. So one thing that I didn't like, that when I was just doing my own postdoc, I always had to be focused on just this one topic in cancer. But as the director, I get to become familiar with so many other types of things that go along with cancer. Different types of techniques and methods that different people use, because there's different groups in our lab. So we have people that work on the proteins, the proteomics. We have people that work on the genomics, the gene expression. We have people that are just bioinformaticists, that basically analyze the genetics and seeing if there's any types of trends. So every day I'm learning something new that I didn't know before as far as cancer research. So that's actually my favorite part of it.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Given what you know now and the journey that you've gone through, what advice would you give to your 19-year-old self?
Oh, wow. 19-year-old self. Oh, man. I honestly would tell myself, just continue being yourself and you'll find your path. One thing that I appreciate about myself, and then even like my husband, I always tell him the same as well. He's in the STEM field. I appreciate the fact that he just continued being himself. I continued just being myself. And we never kind of backed away from being ourselves when it came to our career field or being amongst other people in that career or in that field. Because honestly, if everyone's thinking the same or if everyone's the same, there's really not going to be any way of change in that field or any type of progression. Right. And I feel like the background that I came from, even just in the position that I'm in now, I think it helps me deal with different types of personalities, just interpersonal relationships, just a new view on science, even as a whole, is really important to me. So I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do exactly, but even back then I knew I was fine that whatever I ended up doing, it would be something that I wanted. So I would just tell myself, just continue along that path and that way of thinking, and you'll end up where you need to be.
That's great advice. I'm still trying to figure out what I would tell my 19-year-old.
There's actually a list of other things I'll probably tell.
Yeah, stay away from this person.
Right, my husband is smiling kind of in the back. A lot of things.
Yeah, I know the feeling. In your opinion, what are some of the challenges, stereotypes, media messages that girls and young women face that prevents them from possibly pursuing STEM careers?
I think I feel like I actually spoke to one of my coworkers about this. She's actually a close friend of mine. I've been knowing her since I moved to Houston. And one thing we talk about is, it's just weird when other people outside of the STEM field, when they think of people in STEM, they think only of this one type of, blueprint. Right. Like, they think they think we're not necessarily, I wouldn't say nerds, because if I'm a nerd, I'm fine with being a nerd. But they make it seem as though we're not social. We don't have any type of interpersonal skills. We don't like going out with friends. Right. And we laugh because it seems like the villain in movies is always some type of scientist or something like that. That is true. And it's just like this idea of scientists or STEM field women is just not necessarily what's going on in the STEM field. We have so many types of variety of personalities, right. And I feel like if we actually show that to younger women, like I said earlier, if you can be yourself and be in the STEM field, you can be a scientist and like certain type of music. We all don't listen to classical music and that kind of stuff, you can be yourself and don't let that intimidate you, because honestly, once you are in that STEM field, you'll find people that appreciate that. You'll find people that are actually, I'm like that too. I don't know why people think that we don't know how to have fun and, and we don't have fun,
Right.
because we do. And I think, like I said, I think that it intimidates not only women, but just younger individuals as well. And then also I feel like, as far as minorities, I think it's that intimidation is even stronger, because if they don't necessarily have that exposure to a variety of different people that's in this field, they may feel as though they don't fit the mold.
Right.
When no one's actually telling them there really isn't a mold. You really don't have to be this type of person or have this look to be in this field. And I think that would be the most important message to send to them.
Okay, that's a very powerful message. And you even talk about that on your feature on our blog.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You specifically said, I had to find the confidence that what makes you different should not intimidate you or allow others to prevent you from following your dreams. What makes you unlike everyone else will one day be your strength. Don't hide it, let it shine.
Right.
And that statement inspires me. So I know it will inspire the middle school and high school girls watching this video.
That's great.
So.
Yeah. That's the objective.
So what advice would you offer to a young girl in middle or high school that's interested in your career field? How can she get started?
Middle or high school. I would, as far as my career specifically, pay attention in class, but definitely not necessarily just as like the grades. Grades are important because even middle and high school it follows you, but it doesn't follow you as much as college. But that's really important. Continue to keep your grades up, but then pay attention as far as what they're teaching, and pay attention whereas you find something that you're interested in. Find a passion as early as possible. Like when I was in high school, I can remember when I decided I actually wanted to go in science, biology specifically is when in my AP biology class. It was just something about anatomy and physiology. It was like, how is the body even working? I kind of already had an idea back when my dad would bring, like I said, in the bio, like we bring his textbooks. But when I actually got coursework on it and I had actually someone explain it to me, it was like, wow, actually learning about these things. So I knew I wanted to be involved in that. So, middle and high school, I think the important thing is just try to figure out what at least interests you.
Right.
You doesn't necessarily have to know exactly what you want to do with that at that point in time. But by the time you're in college, I know I am interested in this. I know this is something that if I had to continuously have to think about it every day, I would be fine with that. I think that's the most important thing. Okay. And I think also just working on your discipline as far as studying and as you can imagine in this field, especially in research, things are changing every day. So having the discipline and actually looking up things, researching things, and actually learning about it and being okay with being told a year later, well, that's not actually the truth. This is actually the truth now. And being okay with actually having to keep up with everything is really important as well.
That is great advice. So tell us, what's next for you? What are you excited about?
What I'm excited about as far as career-wise?
Yes.
Career-wise, I'm really excited where I'm at now, the position I'm in now, but the way things are in our lab, things are really progressing as far as mobilizing what I spoke about earlier as far as the research we're doing and turning it into a actual center, not necessarily just within the lab, but something where we can actually have a working clinical model that actually helps patients. And then it not necessarily just be here in Houston, but then nationwide or worldwide. We're really really focus on collaborating as much as possible, because I think we feel as though science and actually getting science to progress to where it's actually helping out people, it will only be functional if we collaborate with as many people as possible. So what we're doing right now is trying to, like I say, get something that's more so like a center, but a center that is including people around the world, that different expertise that overall can help. So that's kind of the mission right now. We hope it happens in the next couple of years. We're kind of positive that it will. So what we're kind of doing right now is kind of just getting the ball moving and trying to get that actually something that we'll see soon.
Yeah, you're very inspirational in the work that you're doing. Because it saves lives.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. I'm very proud. You make me proud.
Oh,
it's just amazing. It's amazing. Now, this question is typically a hard question for people to answer.
Okay.
So, can you tell us about your biggest failure and how you overcame it and how you learned from it to make yourself better?
That is a hard question.
Yes.
But you know what? It actually is something I feel like I think all scientists at some point go through. They actually have a term for it. So it's called imposter syndrome or something.
Yes.
So I don't know if you heard of it. So a lot of us go through, like, even after we defend our thesis and we have the PhD and we have like a postdoc position, we still feel like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't belong. Like, I don't know everything that is supposed to be known about this topic. I'm doing this experiment. I don't even know if this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing. And you actually go through that for a while. And I feel like during my entire postdoc tenure, I think that was maybe like 3 years, I went through that because, I didn't necessarily know what it was going to turn into. I don't know what these experiments, what this project is going to turn into. I don't know what this career is going to turn into. And then just personally as well, it's like, why did I go through all of this, all these years of school, got this PhD, and it's like when you have a postdoc position, you're not necessarily making the most money. So it's like, one, I don't even feel like I'm supposed to be here, and then I'm not necessarily making the most money right now. So why did I even do all of this? And it's a hard thing to have to deal with, and it goes back to that confidence thing. You get to a point, thankfully, that you realize you don't have to know everything. And you feel comfortable with not knowing everything. It's okay when somebody asks you a question, you say, I don't know, because honestly, you don't know. Right. There is someone that knows, and that goes back to what I said before. You try to connect with those people that know. Right. And I feel like it's always kind of funny to me, like when I'm sitting in seminars, and you can kind of tell the people that are kind of struggling with that, with that idea of wanting to seem as though they know everything, but that they don't know everything.
Right.
You
like to know everything.
Exactly. But the thing is, we all go through that. So that postdoc time was, I wouldn't say it was a failure, because I would never say that I wouldn't want to go through that time. Right. But it was a time that I had to do a lot of self-reflection. Right. I had to really decide on what I wanted to, because even after that postdoc position, I actually got out of research, and I was like, why do we want to do research anymore? I don't want to do science anymore. Wow. It took me to that point, and I actually got out of research for like a month. Okay. And after that month, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking. I need to get back in research.
Well, I'm glad it only took a month.
Right. It took a month, but it was like, I'm thankful that I went through all of that. Right. And allowed myself to go through all of that to realize, okay, I had my time that I thought that I didn't want to do this anymore, but I know now this is definitely something that I need to do, and I want to do, and I'm okay with not knowing everything.
Right.
So
that is great advice, because we all go through that imposter syndrome, and
yes,
depending on the situation, those feelings may come up again, even though you've went through it, once in one situation and you overcame it there. For me, it's something that I continuously struggle with. So
right.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought that up and mentioned that. So I really feel like your story will inspire a lot of girls and young women. And even your story on our blog, and I've told you this before, it's the most popular and it has the most shares. And I believe it's because you're an amazing person and you have an amazing story, but also the work that you're doing is so important and it's life-changing.
Thank you.
Because I feel like you will really inspire a lot of women, I'd like to just open the floor and allow you to just freely speak anything to them that's on your mind and on your heart. So the floor is yours.
Well, I just want to tell them that there are people at different levels of my career, and I'm sure just as STEM overall, that are willing to help, no matter what situation you're in, no matter what background you have, that are willing to help you as far as talk to you, consult you, guide you, direct you. Because sometimes one thing I've noticed is that sometimes they just don't know where to go, who to talk to, how to get the foot in the door, and if I could be of any help in doing that, even if I can't necessarily help you out as far as give you a position, I know who to actually send you to talk to, and there's people like that, that I've come to network with all over, and if it's possible, if you need to connect with me for me to get you in connection with them, that's fine, and just never give up on yourself. If you feel as though you want to be in this field, you think you have something that you can add to it, continue doing that, progress, don't ever like I said, don't ever let anyone intimidate you and make you feel as though you can't, because you can, because you already shown that you have the interest.
Wow.
And you'll make an impact, because even if you don't necessarily make the biggest impact in the field, you're making an impact because you're another person that is a role model to someone else younger than you.
Right, right. Very powerful words today from Dr. Kimberly Holloway.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. And like I said, you are very inspirational.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going